Sylvia Duran had sexual intercourse with Lee Harvey Oswald on several occasions. CIA, June 13th, 1967.
I would like to emphasize that the evidence for Alvarado's truthfulness is not limited to the conclusion regarding Duran's stance. In my book, I present 6 independent proofs. The conclusion regarding Duran's stance is merely proof number 4. The book is deliberately titled JFK Assassination: 3 Theorems, 3 Mathematical Proofs. My proofs possess true mathematical rigor. Consequently, they are difficult to present in a video format without becoming overly monotonous. Here, I will present a few intermediate conclusions regarding the alleged intimate relationship between Oswald and Duran. These conclusions form the foundation for proof number 5, which is entirely independent of the proof derived from the conclusion regarding Duran's stance, that is, proof number 4. In other words, proof number 4 is closely related to the conclusion regarding Duran's stance, and proof number 5 is closely related on the conclusion regarding the intimate relationship between Oswald and Duran. The book's table of contents outlines 6 independent proofs, verifying the veracity of Alvarado's testimony. It further details the intermediate conclusions necessary for the 5th proof, a mathematically rigorous demonstration that the pretty girl mentioned in Alvarado's statement was indeed Sylvia Duran, confirming the testimony as 100% factual. The 5th proof is too complex to cover here. However, it leads to a fascinating conclusion regarding one of the CIA's disinformation methods. Let's look at some key facts that emerge along the way as we build the case. 1. The CIA carried out a disinformation operation using intentionally deceptive documents with the aim of eliminating Alvarado's claim that Duran played a leading role in the incident of September 18th. 2. The Mexican police had reliable information about an intimate incident between Duran and Oswald. 3. In 1963 to 1964, the CIA carried out a disinformation operation by suppressing DFS information, omitting from documents and reports any mention of Duran's intimate incident with Oswald. 4. Conversely, in 1967, the CIA reversed this tactic with a disinformation operation using intentionally deceptive documents to promote the claim that Oswald and Duran had sexual intercourse on several occasions after September 27th. 5. In stark contrast to the CIA's disinformation maneuvers, suppressing a supposed intimate incident in 1963 to 1964, only to amplify claims of repeated intercourse post-September 27th in 1967, the events between September 27th and October 1st, 1963, confirm that Duran and Oswald had absolutely no intimate relations. The above 5 points together constitute the conclusion regarding the intimate relationship between Oswald and Duran. The whole thing plays out like a classic bedroom farce penned by Georges Feydeau himself. I would like the viewer to pause for a moment and reflect on just how outrageous the 5 points I have presented truly are. Consider that every detail I analyze comes exclusively from CIA documents. I rely on no witness testimony whatsoever. In 1967, the very year that New Orleans District Attorney Jim Garrison launched his investigation into the Kennedy assassination, the CIA indirectly incorporated into the case file the suggestion that Oswald had engaged in multiple sexual encounters with Sylvia Duran. Let's recall that Oswald arrived in Mexico City at 10 a.m. on September 27, 1963, after a grueling 20-hour bus journey. He immediately went to the Cuban consulate, where he had a heated argument with the consul. The next day, he suffered a nervous breakdown inside the Soviet embassy. Yet the CIA orchestrated a disinformation operation, one in which Duran herself participated, despite being a married woman with a child, to promote the notion that on Sunday, September 29th, she had multiple sexual encounters with a man who was essentially a complete stranger to her. But why does it feel so farcical? Well, naturally, it's all because the CIA had to somehow reconcile three completely incompatible plot points. 1. That intimate incident between Sylvia Duran and the Oswald imposter on September 18th, which, because it was part of the framing setup, was staged deliberately in front of witnesses. 2. The urgent need to bury any evidence of Duran's contact with Oswald beyond September 27th. 3. The absolute necessity of pretending the Oswald imposter never existed at all. They had to square the circle without the whole thing collapsing to a bedroom farce. Here we are faced with a preemptive disinformation operation by the CIA in anticipation of developments in 1967, aimed at managing the problem posed by the existence of witnesses to the intimate incidents between the Oswald imposter and Sylvia Duran. Beyond Jim Garrison, they also had to deal with the ever-reliable and well-informed Elena Garro, as well as the American diplomat Charles Thomas. There were additional problems on this issue that are difficult to present here. The CIA wanted to establish that the real Oswald was indeed the person the witnesses saw in an intimate incident with Duran, and not the imposter. If the witnesses were to come forward and report that they had seen an intimate incident between Oswald and Duran, the CIA would gaslight them by claiming that the incident did indeed occur, but that the witnesses had misremembered the date, and that it actually took place between September 28th and October 1st. Their solution was to inject the absurd theory of a sexual relationship between Oswald and Duran into government records. They did this as part of a method I am calling case closed. In this approach, logic, analytical thinking, and reasonable inferences simply do not matter. The case closed method is straightforward. Create a CIA report with constructed false content. Channel it beyond CIA boundaries, typically to the FBI, disseminating a misleading official document. And then, case closed. The establishment now has the pretext it needed. Journalists and the establishment would then follow suit, declaring, "There is the answer. Case closed. Nothing more to see. Anyone who questions this is a conspiracy theorist."